My mother was a very warm person. As far as Mommie Dearest, it is a great work of fiction. Christina must have been in another household.
Cathy Crawford on Good Morning America, May 1981.
She wasn't that kind of person that my sister Christina had said.
Joan Crawford adopted 4 children throughout her life: Christina, Christopher, and 2 twin girls, Catherine nicknamed Cathy and Cynthia nicknamed Cindy. They were born prematurely on January 13, 1947, and required hospital supervision for several weeks. Their biological mother signed custody over the adoption home a few days before she died of kidney failure, and their biological father abandoned them during the pregnancy and birth. They were not stolen as online rumors alleged. The twins lived with Joan for a year, as required by law, before they were officially adopted in June 1948. On October 2, 1978, Christina Crawford released her book Mommie Dearest. Both Cathy and Cynthia Crawford spoke fondly of their adopted mother and denied the claims made by their older sister Christina and the film. In a 1978 interview with The Morning Call, Cathy said the book was intended to defame the dead for crass commercial purposes. I had no indication how Tina felt about my mother. I'm heartsick, ashamed, and disgusted that she could write such a book about her own mother. Now I feel only contempt and pity for her. As I read the book, I saw no resemblance between the woman Christina described and the mother I knew and loved. In her book, Christina has described my mother as a monster, when in fact, I truly believe it is Christina who is the monster. During their childhood, Cathy did mention she was spanked when, for example, Cindy and I turned our beds into trampolines and mother caught us. In Christina's version, a spanking has been blown out of proportion. I loved being with Mummy, talking with her. Cynthia told reporters in 1979, "I can't understand how people believe this stupid stuff Tina has written."
Christina, I have a letter here from your sister, which you know nothing about. This is written to me. I just want to read one passage of this letter, because I've heard that you will be interviewing my sister Christina Crawford in October. It's later than that now, of course. I want you to know that my sister Cindy's and my feelings are in complete contrast to those of Christina's. We are ashamed and heartsick that she could come out with such malicious carp about our mother. Please know that there are many of us, especially Cindy and me, who respected, admired, and above all, loved our mother dearly. Sincerely yours, Cathy Crawford Lalonde.
On September 18, 1981, the film adaptation of Mommie Dearest was released. Cathy told reporters that same year that the film portrayal of their mother was untrue and unfair. Quote, "My mother was not Mommie Dearest. She was a wise, caring human being." She went on to describe her mother as realistic, preparing her for the, quote, realities of living, and that she was, quote, such a good friend. On May 27, 1981, Cathy appeared on Good Morning America, denouncing the claims made by her older sister, Christina. She described their mother as a, quote, very warm person. She was always there when we needed her. She was a working mother, but she always had time for us. And as far as Mommie Dearest, it's a great work of fiction. Christina must have been in another household. Today, this interview is lost as it allegedly has been purposefully removed from Good Morning America archives. Following the interview on June 11th, Christina's attorney Gary L. Bostwick sent Cathy a threatening letter, stating any further comments like on Good Morning America, quote, will not be tolerated, and they, quote, will vigorously pursue all legal remedies if she continued to speak out. A month after the film's release in October 1981, Cathy told People magazine the film was a farce. Quote, Christina says Joan was rotten, and I say she was a good person. She was tough on us, sure. You'd get a swat once in a while, but none of the physical beatings, the coat hangers. I just can't feel for anybody who would do that to their own mother. It's very immoral. Cindy went on to tell People magazine, quote, I think Christina was jealous. She wanted to be the one person she couldn't be mother. I think she'll use Joan until she can't get any more good out of it. Then she'll dump her.
She was a disciplinarian. She wanted us to grow up independently, self-reliant, and to set our goals to what we believe was right. But we still had to make our beds and wash our dishes, and I think we were told when we were about 4 or 5 years old we had to bring our chairs into the kitchen sink and start washing the dishes. And she wasn't that kind of person that my sister Christina had said. She was very caring and loving. I've never seen Mother lose her cool. She never lost her cool in front of us. I think sometimes she showed her frustration, but not in the cruelty that the book had mentioned. She was a fine woman. She had 2 fine careers, one in an actress and one as a businesswoman, and she never lost control.
Later in July 1998, Cathy filed a lawsuit against her sister Christina for repeatedly making defamatory statements about Cathy and her twin sister Cynthia while promoting a re-release of her book in 1997. Christina said that the twins were not actually real twins. She repeated this on at least 6 occasions. Christina also alleged Cathy had been institutionalized, which Cathy strongly refuted. Cathy's lawyer, Richard Orlowski, submitted both Cathy and Cynthia's birth certificates in the suit. Also, by the time of this lawsuit, Cathy had already unsealed her adoption records in search of her biological family. They ended up finding their father in Tennessee, and both twins had reconnected with their family in the early 1990s. The lawsuit was eventually settled out of court in November 1999 with the use of arbitrators. Cathy was awarded $5,000 plus court costs for public statements Christina wrongfully made about the twins. Cathy's lawyer said, "We proved our point, and now her adopted sister should be careful in the future, knowing she'll be held accountable for her words." Sadly, today this rumor still follows the twins, among many myths about Joan Crawford.
You and your sister Christine were raised in the same household, and to have completely different perceptions about this woman, that's got to be very painful for you.
Yes, it is. But you know what? I don't dwell on it anymore. I don't think about it. I think about my life with her and what she had done for me growing up. She was just very generous, very loving, very nurturing.
Finish the statement for me. My mother was, how would you describe her? My mother was what?
Oh, God. Oh, she was just wonderful. She was very kind, though she was strict, but she was, all parents are to a certain degree, but that's how we teach our children. And she was just a very loving, caring person, and I miss her every day.
Again, in 2008, Cathy would speak fondly of her childhood, this time to Vanity Fair and biographer Charlotte Chandler. Quote, "There were no coat hanger beatings. There were no beatings. We lived in the same house as Christina, but we didn't live in the same home because she had her own reality. Cindy and I had a different reality. I don't know where she got her ideas. Our mommy was the best mother anyone ever had. It makes me very sad every time mommy's name is mentioned, that book is mentioned. I don't want to give it any more publicity than it already had. Even when people say or write good things about my mother, that book gets linked to her name. It's so unfair. Mommy was strict. She believed in discipline. I remember once doing something when I was little for which I had to stand in the corner. I don't remember anymore what it was. I guess we all stood in the corner some time in our lives. I remember another time when I said I didn't like my dinner and I didn't want to eat it. I didn't have to eat it, but I didn't get something else. I had to go to bed without dinner. I don't think it was such a terrible punishment. I was the luckiest child in the world to have Mommy choose me. I wouldn't have chosen any other mother in the whole world because I had the best one anyone could ever have. She gave me a backbone and courage and so much I could never say it all, but oh my gosh, the most important gift she gave me was all the wonderful memories to last and take me through life." Cynthia passed away in 2007 and Cathy passed away in 2020.